and diverse workforce, there's another factor we should consider. Namely, we have to learn to work effectively with people from around the world and with different backgrounds. That's where cultural intelligence comes in. It helps us adapt to the global workforce. Sometimes, we notice our shortcomings only when we come into contact with a new challenge. Luckily for us, issues stemming from low cultural intelligence are not unsolvable, as cultural intelligence can be improved. This lesson will help you achieve that, as we'll cover what cultural intelligence is, why it's important, and how to improve cultural intelligence, both on individual and organizational levels. Let's dive in. What is cultural intelligence? Cultural intelligence, or CQ, cultural quotient, is our ability to effectively adjust to new cultural contexts and different cultures. Simply put, in workplace environments, cultural intelligence refers to our capability to work effectively with people from different cultural backgrounds. This ability is not limited to our cultural sensitivity and awareness but goes beyond that. Namely, people with high cultural intelligence feel confident in new environments, and, by making informed judgments based on observations, they are able to use their skills to realize their objectives in culturally diverse situations. Understanding the local and international business environment of the firm requires managers of organizations to sharpen their cultural intelligence. Cultural intelligence is an individual's ability to favorably receive and adjust to an unfamiliar way of doing things. This will enable them to develop their ability to accept and adapt to different cultures, both local and international, that may affect the organization to which they belong. To help you improve your CQ, you can consider using the following four-step method consisting of 1. CQ drive, motivation, the person's motivation to learn about and respond to a different culture. It is the interest in and confidence at functioning effectively in culturally diverse settings. 2. CQ knowledge, cognition, the person's knowledge of how cultures are similar and different. The point is not to be an expert on every culture, but to understand how culture influences behaviors, values, and beliefs. 3. CQ strategy, metacognition, how the person makes sense of culturally diverse experiences. The knowledge about cultures enables effective planning in the context of cultural differences and forming cultural sensitive strategies. 4. CQ action, behavior, the person's capability to adapt his or her behavior to different cultures, including handling any difficulties that might arise. 3 components of cultural intelligence. In their HBR article Cultural Intelligence, P. Christopher Early and Elaine Mosakovsky state that cultural intelligence consists of 3 components. Component 1, cognitive skills, head. The first component of cultural intelligence, cognitive skills, is dubbed the head. It deals with our ability to understand a different culture and adapt our behavior in ways that will streamline our communication with the members of the said culture and eradicate some of the most common communication barriers. This also means that our cognitive skills can help us better understand different cultures by doing some research and showing an active interest in our colleagues with different backgrounds. Component 2, physical cues, body. The next component of cultural intelligence is the body, aka the physical cues. Namely, this part refers to our ability to notice how different cultures use physical cues and reciprocate them. By doing this, we're showing our coworkers that we're making a conscious effort to understand their culture and ensure we don't offend them inadvertently. It's not enough to say you understand the culture of your foreign colleagues or guests. You need to show them you understand it with your actions and behavior. Component Pound 3, emotional understanding, heart. The third component of cultural intelligence is emotional understanding, the heart. In other words, this is the part where motivation for understanding colleagues from different cultures and successfully collaborating with them is key. This means that, when adapting to new cultures, we're almost certainly going to face challenges and setbacks. The main part is to persevere and don't let ourselves get discouraged by mistakes we make in the learning process. Anthropologist Edward T. Hall, as cited by Schermerhorn, 2008, noted that the way people approach and deal with time varies across cultures. Monochronic cultures refer to cultures wherein people tend to do one thing at a time. Also, these cultures emphasize punctuality and sticking to set rules. Polychronic cultures, on the other hand, are more flexible as regards time. Accomplishing many different things at once is also common for these cultures. Geert Hofstede, also cited by Schermerhorn, 2008, showed how selected countries ranked on the 5 cultural dimensions he studied. Power distance, the degree to which a society accepts or rejects the unequal distribution of power among people in organizations and the institutions of society. For example, India and the Philippines have high power distance, while the US and Australia have low power distance. The use of the terms, sir, and madam, to refer to the boss. Superior by subordinate employees in the Philippines shows respect for authority figures or high power distance. In the U.S., subordinates just use the name or nickname of the boss when addressing him or her, indicating low power distance. Uncertainty avoidance. The degree to which society is uncomfortable with risk, change, and situational uncertainty. Managers in the U.S. are risk takers. Filipinos are seguristas that are afraid of taking risks within business endeavors in the market. Individualism, collectivism. The degree to which a society emphasizes individual accomplishments versus collective accomplishments. Individualistic cultures like those of the U.S. and Australia are characterized as I and me cultures where employees prefer to work alone without help from others. Mexico, Thailand, and the Philippines exhibit collectivism or preference for group or teamwork. Masculinity, femininity. The degree to which a society values assertiveness and feelings of material success versus concern for relationships. The Japanese and Mexicans do not hesitate to push or express what they want, and mindful of hurting others' feelings, thus showing masculinity. Filipinos, Thais, and Swedes would rather keep quiet and accept defeat if what they want is not acceptable to others, thus exhibiting femininity. Time orientation. The degree to which a society emphasizes short-term thinking versus greater concern for the future or long-term thinking. The Americans, who are risk-takers, prefer short-term thinking. On the other hand, Filipinos and the Japanese, who are not risk-takers, are long-term thinkers. The local culture of a particular country also influences the management practices of firms. An example is the MANA habit, which is part of local Filipino culture and practiced by some Filipino workers. It is counterproductive since it encourages the postponement of performing tasks that can be done immediately to another day. Managing and disciplining workers who practice this habit would be easier for managers if they are able to identify the workers who adhere to such negative work habit and prevent them from doing it. This, however, is easier said than done because it is difficult to explain a country's unique cultural characteristics.